known as our literacy group time. Our academic advisor has taken test scores and divided the first and second grade students into appropriate groups for this class time. These particular students in my class are the lowest group among the first and second grade students. When I first came to the school, we worked through the SFA program, but as we reached the end of the unit, I discussed with my mentor how our students were still struggling with the material we were on, and they were not ready to move to the next unit. What we realized is that the students are at different levels and should be treated as such. We decided that the highest group within our class was not ready to move to a different classroom and onto another unit, but they were far beyond the lowest in our class. That is why we split the class into 4 15-minute sections, and each group consisted of approximately 3 students. The first 15 minutes, I do a read aloud with all students gathered together on the carpet. This allows them to unite as a class. We work through our read aloud asking comprehension questions. These books often relate to the book that they're reading with Mrs. Phillips during their read time. Since this is the first class of the day, many of the students are still eating breakfast when they come in. So this time allows them to finish their breakfast without missing crucial instructional time. After the read aloud, students split into 3 groups and rotate. One center is for writing, one for sounds and sight words, and the third for reading through the SFA book. Each center has a teacher present to work with the students on their level with the books and words that are appropriate for them. As you see throughout the video, I use different sets of words for the different groups. The hardest thing about this particular setup is that we are all in one room trying to run 3 different centers. The majority of these students in this class have behavioral issues on top of their reading deficit. It's often hard to keep these students on task listening to myself when I'm giving a lesson, or even participating when reading through their books, doing their sounds, or whatever the case may be. This is especially true if another group gets too excited or loud in a different station. To help with this problem, I have used and introduced to the class Classroom Dojo. This helps to keep the students on task. If they are actively engaged, they can gain points which will result in rewards. I have seen a major increase within the lowest of our groups because they often are trying to please and earn these rewards since they don't get such things. They don't have the benefit in other classes without differentiated instruction. Another problem in this setup is that it's hard to incorporate technology for 3 different reasons. One reason is that it's only a 15-minute time period with each group, and this is even shortened once you consider the transition time going from group to group. So to get out the technology and use the technology, they barely get their hands on it before it's time to move on. Another problem is that we already have that problem keeping that student attention, and by using the smartboard or other technology, it makes it even more difficult. And the final problem that we have using technology in these groups is that the students know that when the final problem that we have with it is that we each have our own area within the classroom. So the students know they're working with myself, I'm at the front of the classroom. Then they rotate to Miss Pam, a para, she sits at the teacher table, and then they transition to Mrs. Phillips, my mentor teacher, who's at the back of the room by the shelving units. And I feel that it would mess up the routine and truly cause chaos for some of the students if we moved our location for a single day to use a smartboard or other technology devices. I have found it hard sometimes to make sure that we're all progressing as students at the same time. This is especially true for sight words and writing sections. I don't have time to talk to the parent before she leaves the class to see if she's moved the students on to the next page within the book they're working on. It's for this reason that in future planning a class such as this one, that I make time once a week outside the classroom to talk with the parent about the progression that the students are making. Planning differentiation of instruction is one that takes a lot of communication among teachers that are working on it. I feel like that in a situation such as this where the students are so low that it may be more beneficial to leave them in one center for 45 minutes a day and then rotate them daily versus what we're doing now, the 15 minutes per center, and they reach each center in one day. This way that they wouldn't just begin the lesson, finally hit the heart of the topic before having to switch. It would also allow technology to be more involved if there is a longer involvement time for the students, such as giving them the 45 minutes daily and then rotating the following day.